Hello, welcome to another episode of DNA Hardwired, Common Sense Turned Upside Down. My name is Pop, and I would like to thank you for joining in on another exciting and thought-provoking episode on blame versus personal responsibility in relationships. In addition to recording our episodes, we are now happy to announce we are now live streaming our podcast. Listeners will be able to listen live and hopefully interact with us on these controversial and informative discussions. You will need to download the Podbean app in order to join us live, though. On one of our previous episodes, we had three regular male guests on, Tony, Jackie, and Deuce. In an attempt to answer some questions from a previous episode, they were on with two other female guests and two female hosts. I personally really didn't feel they gave satisfactory responses to the questions and issues that some of the women had brought up. So I'm going to give them another opportunity to clean up their act, so to speak. Hopefully they'll do a better job. Okay. So all right. So joining us today, though, we have Tony and Jackie, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, gentlemen. Let's again see if we can take a look at some of the women's concerns. Do you guys have anything initially to say? We'll start with you, Jackie.
I do. I'm baffled at the fact that I believe these issues are all around us, and we choose not to see them, and it's crazy to me to be involved with life and not address what you see right in front of you. Now, the question I have is, do we see it? Is everyone seeing it and they're choosing not to address it? Most people just walk around with blinders on and pretend the issues are not there? Almost like the ostrich putting ostrich with his head in the sand. Mentality. So I'm not going to deal with that. That doesn't exist in my world. I'm keeping my head down. That sort of thing. So, because I don't believe me saying some of the things that I say, I don't believe it's that far from actual reality, what's going on around me every day.
Okay. All right. Good comment. Thoughts on that, Tony?
I would say for me, I am kind of like not understanding about the part that we both played in society, what we contributed as far as male, female, when it's all, everything that both sides has contributed has moved and pushed society forward. So I don't care who created what. We all know and realize strength, man. Wisdom, nurturing, woman. That's it.
Okay. All right. So what we'll do is we'll address some of the specific questions that I still had on some of the things that we had talked about previously, guys. And I don't want to take you guys' words out of context, because I mean I can do that sometime, and I don't want to do that. So one of the first questions I have for you, and I think, Tony, you just kind of addressed it, so I get a bit of feeling for what you just said. But I'm going to ask the question anyway. Do you still feel women really haven't contributed anything major or worthwhile to society, other than for the fact that they create life, and many times they play a supportive role to men. So that Tony and everybody else understands that I do listen. So I heard what you had said, Tony, and it sounded like you kind of addressed that again without putting words in your mouth. It does sound like you do agree that women have contributed a lot more to society than just for procreation.
So the woman, the female energy aspect of life is nurturing. If the man builds the house, the woman plays the role of making it a home. If the man builds the car, puts the wheels on it, the woman comes and creates the air conditioner so you can feel good in the car. So we're just talking in circles about who brought what to society to put it on. We all understand. A man does the heavy part, does the heavy lifting, puts it on his back. The female nurtures it. That's her role. It's not, I didn't create it. That's just what it is. That's society. That's life in general. Masculine energy and feminine energy. They're not to go against each other, but to work in harmony as one. Right? So we both contributed important pieces to society because without one, you can't have the other, and vice versa. So that's how I feel about it. It shouldn't be a back and forth about who created what, who did this. We both did. The man built the machine, the woman made sure it was running good. There we go.
Okay, and I like that answer. I like that answer, Tony. I feel, me personally anyway, I feel more confident with your answer now. I will say that initially, I do think that because they told me the women, they weren't feeling that comfort level. They felt that maybe we were saying that the only thing they did was pop babies out, and they didn't feel very good about that. What are your thoughts, Jackie?
I think, and I agree with Tony's saying, and on the same level, I think I feel the same way. I think the same way he thinks. That no one is saying women didn't bring anything to society. The pushback that men, and the reason men started saying these things is that, like Tony said, all the heavy lifting has been done by men. But the words that women began to say over the last 30, 40 years, we don't need men. That wasn't a mantra that men said. Men never walked around saying we don't need women. And so men began to hear that, and we just lived our lives. And it wasn't until like the last 3 or 4 years that men have been like saying like, no, let me show you what we really about. Let me show you what we really do. Who's moving? Who's doing the heavy lifting in society? And it's 90% of heavy jobs is being done by men. It's not women. That's why I always say women want equality in the C-suite of the company. They don't want equality out there dating ditches. And so men just got tired of hearing that. No one said women didn't contribute. No one said women didn't, that women hadn't been inventors. None of that. None of that. But that's what was being heard because it's being viewed through the lens of emotion as opposed to logic. We think a lot of men are thinking that women have become the best version of the men that they want. And so that cycle, it's a vicious cycle, but that's where we are right now. So I 100% agree with what Tony said, and I agree that women have contributed, but let's not pretend that we're the same because we're not. And that's the basis of where this dialogue or this disagreement just started. It came from.
Yeah, and I would agree with I would agree with you too, Jackie, on the point about the feedback that many men receive, sometimes still now, but the feedback that many men received over the years about what not being worth shit and all the rest of that kind of stuff, and I can understand it. I hear what you're saying. And I agree that was a reality, and men they sit back and took it. And I think that it got to a point, I guess, where they decided to kind of fight back a little bit, so to speak. It's almost like politics right now. It's almost like politics. Them po Republicans, and so for you Republicans that are out there listening to this, excuse me for a minute, but it's like those po Republicans out there for years. We Democrats were beating up on them and stuff, and we were promoting our agenda. Free for this and equality for those people and all the rest of that. And so now it seems like, now this is just me now. This is just me using this analogy. Nobody else have to buy into it. But now it's like, now you Republicans, you conservatives, y'all have a leader in the White House now, and you got some other supporting characters with the Congress. Y'all got y'all in charge now, so y'all fighting back, and you doing those things now. You taking some of y'all taking revenge and that type of thing. So that's kind of how I make this comparison. But I'm sorry, Jackie, Tony, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I was just going to piggyback on what Jackie said about where we are not the same. And that's fact. We are not the same. We are both important, but not the same. All right. So let me give you an example. Who makes the best R&B music?
What was that again, Tony?
Who makes the best R&B music? Or better yet, is your top R&B artist a male or female?
It's a male. The male.
Right. And 90% of people, I'm just saying America, 90% of people's favorite artist is a male, not a female. That goes along with a lot of things. A male that voice, the direction, the leadership is what the women look for. So a man can bring that out of you. You feel me? So we're not the same at all. Because I can have a man sing a song and have a female sing the same song, but you feel it more if the male sung it.
Well, I see. So here we go. So here we go. This is one of those cases, I think, of where it sounds to me, Tony, and I don't want to put words in your mouth. I do not want to put words in your mouth. But I'm going to say it anyway. But it sounds like what you're saying to me, that this is just my interpretation of what you're saying, and you can correct me. But it sounds like what you're saying is that the man's voice is more appealing, is more pleasurable. People prefer to listen to it. Is that what I hear you saying?
No. This is what I'm saying. Esoterically, a man vibrates differently than a woman. It's the vibration. It's not about like this, the man, female. It's actually the vibrations that the male brings to the table. A female can't emulate a male's vibration, right? So it's the vibration that comes with the man. That's all it is.
Okay.
It's just the difference in energy.
Let me pick back on that, if I can, on that part.
Okay.
Just said. All right, and then Tony, if I'm wrong, just tell me on this. Normally when men do things, there's a lot of energy behind it. Men are gonna put energy behind it, and a lot of times we recognize it. That's one of the biggest differences between the NBA and the WNBA. That there's a lot of energy when it comes to that men's basketball game. Not saying that not saying the women's basketball game isn't good, but when you want that energy, you're gonna watch an NBA game. You're gonna go to an NBA game. So when it comes to what Tony's saying, when it comes to the things that men do, collectively, we move the needle. And we watch this, and we move the needle into making women's lives easier too. We put that same energy into helping women make their lives easier. So it's not like it's just meaning that we try to put our thumb on. I think men in general are not trying to put their thumb on women. I don't think that's ever been a mindset that men have had to a degree in this country, especially black men, because we didn't run enough for women that didn't give to us. However, when it comes to the men getting together and moving the needle, we gonna we gonna move hell in our water to get that done collectively, and that comes to the defense of the country, as well as defending our women, as well as all the way down to making our lives easier, or move the technology forward. It's going to be that energy that comes from men, and that's what Tony's saying about the man's voice. When we speak, the world listens. And collectively, a lot of times when women speak, it doesn't have that same energy. And now, if I'm wrong on that, Tony, correct me.
You're exactly right. Because I'm about to get a little for a minute. All right.
What was that again, Tony?
Yeah,
Repeat that. Repeat that, Tony. You about to get the what?
Okay, I'm about to. I'm gonna give you an example of something, right? This guy, right? Her name was Sophia. She was supposed to.
Tony. I don't know. Yeah, we can't hear you, Tony.
Okay, here. You hear me?
All right, yeah, we hear you now.
All right, so there was this deity, a goddess, by the name of Sophia. She represented divine energy, all right? So what she decided to do, go and create without a counterpart, right? So she created a god. And this god was unbalanced. And throughout this God's journey, he lived an unbalanced life. And the other gods looked at him like the bad guy because he had no balance. So that story is basically esoterically telling you feminine energy has to have a balance. We all have to have that balance. But during that balance, we have to succumb when it comes to like strength. Let that man handle that strength. Let that woman take care of that home and nurture. That's where she's strong at, with love, feelings, right? The man is more, let's go. Like Jackie spoke on the previous podcast. Men, we just want to go do. Women want to sit around and gossip. Not saying that they don't handle their business, but they also like to sit around, get around girls' night, let's go gossip. Men, we just like to go do, right? So it's just a difference in responsibility that we are seeing by the Creator. That's it.
Okay. I want to
stop stepping on each other. We need to stop stepping on each other's toes. We need to stop trying to be more imbalanced than the other one. Just play your role.
Yeah.
It's not a knock against your role. Yeah. Not saying that you can't or not capable of doing this, but it's not where you're strong at.
Yeah. Let me follow up. Let me follow up for a quick second here on both what Jackie said and Tony said. Kinda. I know Jackie had kind of used a reference of like basketball, for example. Here's my thoughts on things like that. Again, I think we talked about a whole group of people in the past who had been held back because the people that was in control, the majority, held them back. You know, they said things. They talked about how these people couldn't do certain things and yada yada yada. Well, the reason these people couldn't do certain things was because they were prevented from doing them. So then what happened was, over a period of time, they began to allow these people they were allowed to start to do some of these things that this major group of people said they couldn't do. And I'll be damned, these people shined like everybody else. And so I kind of think about that with men and women. I think for so long, women have been prevented from doing so many things, like playing basketball. If you think about how long men have been playing basketball versus how long women have been playing basketball, and look at the progression of both, I think that you would acknowledge that women have came a long way. Okay, they have came a long way. There's a lot more people getting involved with professional women's basketball than ever before, and that's because people understand that they have talent just like males do. So, that, my whole thing is this is my whole thing, and maybe I'm kind of weird. I believe in allowing people to be what they can be, and I don't want to put people in a box. I don't want to put people in the female box, and I don't want to put people in the male box. If you can do what a male can do, then do it. If you can do what a female can do, then do it. As long as we don't get too crazy with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, me personally now, I'm not into trying to make a man a woman, and I'm not into trying to make a woman a man. So I'm not going to go that far. But I am into allowing folks to try to live up to their full potential. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay, Pops. This is my pushback on that, right?
Okay.
So let's say you got a son, right? And you want him to play basketball or any kind of sport, right?
Right.
You're not going to just automatically go push your son out there to go play with the big dogs, are you? No.
No.
You're going to fine-tune your son, get him ready, and once he's ready, then you're going to put him out there, right? So
sounds good.
This is what society does. You have to understand, the people that run the show know human psychology, right? So what do? They know how a male acts. They know how female acts, right? Just like your example of a group of people.
Uh-huh.
If you're trying to construct a society in a certain type of way,
uh-huh,
then you have to string along the ones that are not playing the game correctly until they start mentally. They got to see it first. Mentally.
Okay. I'm gonna stop you. I'm gonna stop you right there, Tony. I'm gonna stop you right there. We both know who we talking about, right? So now here's what I want you to think about. Did that group the boss group, the group that was in power, did they willingly try to bring these weak people along, these people that weren't smart and all the rest of that good stuff? Did they willingly allow these people to become what they are today? Or did those people have to force them? They had to force them to give them the opportunity to be equal. You tell me.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. You can't. I don't want you to do something. I'm never going to change my mind. So
I don't understand that. Explain that again. Explain that again, Tony.
I'm gonna say it one more time.
Okay.
If I don't want my son to cross the street without looking both sides before doing so, he better not do that. I would never change that. So if I don't want a group of people to prosper in life, and that's my mindset, I'm never going to change it no matter what nobody does.
I'll tell you what.
So
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna hold on, but I don't buy that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
If it's my country and what I say goes, there's no way a peon is going to change my mind.
Well, and that evidently, look back over history. Look back over history. Look back over history and see what happened. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
The only reason I am going to let these group of people in is if I can benefit from it. That's the only reason. So, how did letting these group of people in to get the same opportunity benefit? Well, we give more taxes now. Since they want to be in the games that they were not in, now they're in the game, so pay me taxes. So
No.
I don't
No. Those people who were being suppressed, they raised hell. They said, look, We will burn this shit down if y'all don't treat us right. They said we will burn this shit down. That's what happened. Look at history.
If I'm standing firm on my mindset of keeping you down, that's the way it's going to stay.
Well,
I don't care what you do. That's what it's going to stay.
Well, all I can tell you, all I can tell you is history says different. But go ahead.
No, so Tony, let's call it. So you're saying if we're looking at society, if one side doesn't want you to progress and succeed, it's not going to change, or they're not going to change their mind regardless of what trends they be changing or what's going on around. I'm lost on that one right there.
If I'm ruled with a sword, and everything I say goes, what would make whatever you do and say make me change my mindset if I want to keep these groups of people down?
I'll burn this shit down. That's why I ain't worried. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you. No. Let me tell you something. That's why me as a black man today, I'm gonna be honest with you. That's why me as a black man today, I can give a shit about these racists. I can give a shit about them. You know what? Because just like them, I can own a gun. I will burn this shit down. Go ahead.
Go ahead and burn it down. You know what that means?
What that mean?
All I have to do, if I really wanted to, I could just call in my security team, National Guard.
Guess who's on your security team?
Hold on.
Guess who's on your security team? Ask Jackie. Ask Jackie who's on your security team. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All I'm saying is, this is all I'm saying. If I really wanted my mindset to stand on something, there's nothing you can do to make me change.
Burn this shit down.
If you want to burn it down, you have to live there, not me.
We.
I don't have to worry about that.
We have to live there. Right? We have to live there.
No, if I'm the one at the top, I don't have to live there.
That's why some of those people got smart and start burning their shit down. Don't you get it? That's why those people got smart and start burning some of their shit down. But go ahead.
If I'm at the top, I don't care about that.
You do care.
I'm at the top.
No, you do care. Look at society right now. Let me ask you a question. Do you remember there was a time in Arizona. You and I live in Arizona, Tony. There was a time where Arizona, the state of Arizona, refused as a state. They refused to honor the Martin Luther King holiday. They refused to honor it because there was a bunch of racists, right? So what happened was there was a group of people that decided, hey, wait a minute. You're not gonna honor this black person who's part of history here. Here's what we'll do. You will never ever get an NFL Super Bowl. Do you know what happened? We got we got a Martin Luther King state holiday, right? And now Arizona got a Super Bowl. No, that's how stuff works now. Women don't have to sit back and wait anymore. And neither do most other people. So that's what we need to understand.
If the objective of life was to keep people down, that's what we'll be doing. That will be the objective. But the objective of life is not to keep people down. It's to tear them down to build them up. That's the objective of life.
So that was the objective of slavery?
Say it again?
I said, was that the objective of slavery? To keep them down, to build them up? Was that the objective of the suppression of women? Come on now.
So you tell, hold on. First of all, slavery's been going on since the beginning of time. So kill that. Now, if you want to think about the most recent slavery that you're talking about now, what happened after that? What happened after that?
I got someone just made hold up. Let me, we have our first, we just have a milestone, guys. We just have our first input on our live stream. And we have an individual here that said that I guess they didn't finish the thing. They said just because they didn't recognize something, they said just because they didn't recognize a holiday does not make them a racist. So we have a input here, and I appreciate, sir, or sir, ma'am, I appreciate you making this input. That's a very good question. Their point was just because they did not recognize a holiday does not make them a racist. Comments real quick.
I agree.
Who says that?
I agree.
Who says that?
Tony said he agreed.
He agrees that just because they didn't recognize a holiday, that did not make them a racist.
I agree. It's a business strategy. It's business, bro.
Oh, it was a business.
Everything is business.
It was a business that the rest of the United States of America thought enough of what Martin Luther King had done that they wanted to honor him with a holiday, right? Except one state, the last state in the union, was so racist. And I live in Arizona, and I don't know who the person who made the comment if they live in Arizona, but I live in Arizona. I'm a black man. I've lived here since 1982. Arizona is a racist state. That's just a fact. I still love Arizona. As long as I can, I'm going to live here. But it doesn't matter what part of the country I go in. Look, I'm married to a white woman. Look. Well, let me finish. I'm married to a white woman. I got 3 white kids. All right. So I'm trying not to be a racist, but I'm trying to be a realist. Okay. But go ahead. Go ahead.
If it was about race, it's more states that's way more racist than Arizona, and they recognize Martin Luther King.
I agree.
If I can get you to keep working on this holiday, that's more money for the state. It's just business, bro.
No, I don't agree with that. Then if that was the case, if it was a case of business, don't let them off on Christmas. Don't let them off on Easter. Don't let them off on. Why we got to pick the black holiday? The only one that's something else I want you to think about. At least give us a token. Give us black folk a token. Say you black people, we're gonna give you just this one. All of the other ones, Easter, Thanksgiving. Go ahead. I'm listening. I'm listening.
You talking like they're your God.
Who my God?
That's what you're talking like.
Like who my God? Who's my God?
You talking about give me this. They not your God. Huh?
I'm not asking nobody to give me nothing. I'm not.
That's what you just said, bro.
Oh, you mean as far as the holiday?
Yeah, that's what you just said. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yes, I did ask for that. Yeah, at least give me something to make me think I'm worth something. That's how women are feeling. That's how I think women are feeling. Go ahead.
This is my issue with like stuff like that. That's why I don't like talking about stuff like that, because when you speak on like wanting to celebrate different holidays, well, you can do that within your family. It doesn't have to be recognized worldwide. Do that within your family.
Look. This is the way I look at it. Then let everybody do it within their family. Celebrate Easter within your family. Celebrate Christmas within your family. Celebrate New Year's Day. Hey, I think we got a holiday coming up next week, if I'm not mistaken. I think they call it the 4th of July. Celebrate that in your family.
New Year's is a esoteric birthday. It represents.
Look. We can make all kind of excuses. We can make all kind of excuses we want. We can make all kind of excuses we want. But I had made the statement about Arizona being racist, and thanks to one of the participants, they commented on it, and I greatly appreciate it. And so now that's what we're talking about. But no, Arizona's a racist state. I live here. I love the state. It's just Donald Trump is a racist president. Okay, Donald Trump is a racist president. Most of the Republican Party is a racist party because what I do is I look at the things that they do to discriminate, to deny minorities. Okay, and so
Republicans a racist party?
what was that?
Wow. The Republicans are what?
It's a racist party.
Why you say that?
Why do I say that? Look at history and then look at today. Look at the first thing that they did when Donald Trump and both houses took over, the Republicans. Look at the first things they started to do away with. Taking black books out of school, taking black books out of schools, doing away with, wanting to do away with black names of stuff. Why are we doing that?
If I look at history, Democrats were the racist. If I look at history, so
I agree, and it changed. I agree with that, and the parties flipped.
It didn't flip.
It did flip.
I don't like getting into politics. I don't like getting into politics because.
Okay, that's good. You're right. Let's save that for another topic. Let's get back to where we were. Go ahead, Tony.
I've been went deep down in that rabbit hole, and I've learned a lot of stuff. So I don't like to get this.
Right. Okay. Real quick, we're getting more feedback from our participant here. Let's see here. I think he says that he's from California, and then I think he says, do you agree they changed Christmas to winter to celebration and Easter to spring celebration? He's got more people of color in his cabinet than many. Oh, this person's talking about, now he's talking about how Trump, he's got more people of color in his cabinet than many. Please, listener, please check your history. Please, check your history. He's other presidents' first term. No, they did not. Someone said no, they did not. So I see now there's some people that's commenting on what he's talking about. But okay, interesting. But go ahead. I'm sorry, Tony. Go ahead. You still there, Tony?
Yeah, I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, I said go ahead. I was talking, so you go ahead. We'll try to get back onto what we were talking about. So go ahead if you want. Or unless, let me see, Jackie. Let's see if Jackie, you got anything to say?
No, I was wanting to hear. I think you had another question that was coming up, and I was.
Okay, all right. Then so let's move on to another question.
No. I did have a question for you. I had a question for you. Are you saying that before the conversation went down that
yeah, went down that hill.
Are you saying that if given the opportunity, women would have chosen to go into these other areas of society?
My God. My God. Thank you. Thank you, Jackie. That's all I'm saying.
No, that was a question. No.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm asking, is that what you're saying?
That is what I'm saying. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to tell you that if given an opportunity, the average female or even above average female is going to be a running back in an NFL.
No.
I'm not saying that, but go ahead. Within their abilities, go ahead.
Thinking about it.
Okay, go ahead.
I ain't talking about from an athletic standpoint.
Okay.
I understand a woman's not going to be a running back in the NFL.
All right, go ahead.
However, when you look at the like I'm going back to this one aspect, to the heavy lifting in society.
Okay.
The building, the construction aspect.
Right.
These things.
Right.
Women have more freedom right now to do those things, and they still elect to go do the things that they've always done.
I will acknowledge, Jackie. I would acknowledge that women aren't falling out the sky wanting to build buildings. I would acknowledge that, but I think they should be given the opportunity. That's all I'm saying. You know, I'll tell you what. We come back to Arizona again. People talk about these jobs here, all these illegals taking these jobs. So what happened? A lot of them got rounded up and shipped back across the border. So now there's a lot of us black people, a lot of us white folks, a lot of us Asians that didn't have an opportunity to be landscapers out there in that hot ass sun. So now, man, when I look out my window, that's all I see is black and white and Asians out there mowing grass and all the rest of that stuff. So they were given the opportunity, right? I'm sorry, Tony. I mean, Jackie, if I got off track, but go ahead.
No. But watch this. Watch this. Let's take your anecdotal experience of what you see outside when you walk outside your front door.
Right.
It's what you don't see out there. You don't see women. You don't see too many women out there holding with a weed eater in their hand.
Whether they Mexican or otherwise, absolutely, you're right.
No, you don't see women out there that riding a zero-turn lawnmower.
You're right.
You see men out there doing that.
Absolutely.
That is what the basis of what I'm saying when I speak about these stuff.
But Jackie, I agree with you. There's going to be certain professions. There's going to be certain professions that, first of all, women aren't, I hate to use the word suited for, but they're not going to be suited for because of the physical aspect of it. I acknowledge that.
And that is where, and watch this, that is the basis, that is the foundational basis of what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm saying women not doing certain things.
Right.
In certain areas, you are not physically built to do those jobs. So don't look at me and you and say we're equal, because we're not. That is it.
Right.
I'm not saying that you are not intelligent, you're not smart. That's never been an argument.
Right. Okay. I got a comment from our listener here. Person says, would you want to have a firefighter partner that cannot pull you out of a burning building? That was the first thing the person said. And then they said they lowered the qualifications to include women in the departments. For this person, I'm a prior Air Force person. Uh, uh, I came in Air Force in 1967, 1970, excuse me, 1968, 1969 or so. I worked on B-52 D models. They had parachutes, drag chutes in the back. There's a drag chute door to drop down. We had to load these big heavy ass drag chutes. At March Air Force Base, I was one of the first crew chiefs that end up having females having. Let me finish. Having. Okay, I was a crew chief at March Air Force Base on B-52D models. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, and I was one of the first crew chiefs who received or who had a female, Patricia Bueno. She was the first female crew chief on my plane, a B-52D model. We had to load drag chutes in the back of the tail of a B-52D model. She had to carry her heavy ass toolbox. There were things that, yes, we had to help Patricia with because she didn't have the physical strength to do some of those things. But guess what? We had grown men who weighed 100 and 125 pounds. Guess what they had to have help with? Loading that damn drag chute in the tail of that compartment. So I understand that there are going to be certain careers where the physical aspect of it, females are going to have to be given a break. And I also, for this listener here, there are considerations given to other types of people with disabilities. They call them accommodations because we want to try to include everybody as much as possible. Okay, they're called accommodations. So yes, in response to your question, yes, I agree that some of the standards may have been from the physical part of it may have been lowered for females, just like for certain folks with certain other type of disabilities, their standards lowered. But I'm sorry, go ahead. Okay.
Okay, all right.
Say that again, Tony.
Even if we don't talk about the physical part of it, right?
Okay.
Let's talk about the mental
All right.
So, who get game ran on them the most?
Who get game ran on them the most?
Yes.
Probably women.
Yes. So who's mentally smarter?
When you say who's now for the folks who don't know what for the folks for the folks who don't know what Tony talking about when he say who get game ran on them the most, what brother Tony is saying is out of the male and female when they're in the dating game, who bullshits who the most? Yeah, we men are very good at bullshitting and lying. That don't mean that we're more intelligent. That just means we're good at bullshitting and lying. Go ahead, I'm listening.
It takes smart to outsmart somebody. So
look at the president. Look at the president. Look at the president. He convinced the vast majority of American voters to elect him president. That was smart. He's smart. Give me a break. He was able to convince. He was able to convince the vast majority of American voters to elect him to. What was that? I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry. Let me. I'm sorry. I can't help myself. I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize. Thanks for checking me.
Don't worry about it. We got it.
All right. Thanks. Thank you.
I don't want to have to crush you on the topic, so stay away from that, right?
Okay.
So when it comes to the mental aspect, like I said, there are more. Men run game on women all day, every day, and they fall for it, right?
Right.
So on the mental aspect, who's smarter?
Hey, Tony, let me kick something in there with that right there. See, I believe that the men in our generation, they did run game on women and they came up. Now you've got these dudes out here being raised by some of these single moms. They getting finessed out the wazoo. All right. They getting finessed.
Mama ain't teaching them the game right, Jackie.
So what part?
I said, Mama ain't teaching her son the game right.
Right. Mama, but watch this. Mama can't teach the game because she had the game ran on her. She can't teach what she can't teach what you what she can't teach that.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
When you want to learn how to fish, do you go ask the fisherman or do you go ask the fish? You don't ask the fish, they the one getting caught. So you better go ask that fisherman. So no.
Now I like that. I have to admit, Jackie, I like that analogy. I may have to use that one.
Go right ahead. I just want to get away from the physical part because that's an easy fight, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Hold real quick. Real quick. Comments from our listener here. Question about women in war zones. Question mark. Female is a stronger sex. If it were up to males to procreate, the human race would have gone extinct centuries ago. Okay. So yeah, but okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But what was the purpose? What did they say with that statement right there? What did they say with that statement again?
Well, basically, they're kind of continuing here. Let's see here. What they were saying was this person was in the fire department in Sacramento, California, and they said some women can do what men can do, but not all. Okay, yes, but not to the point of becoming dangerous. Then the question was women in war zone? Question mark. Should we have women in a war zone? Then another statement here was females are stronger sex. If it were up to males to procreate, the human race would have gone extinct centuries ago. And then someone laughed out loud. And then men in labor. Those were some of the comments. But go ahead.
This is the thing with that right there, and I'm tired of people using that argument. We act like a woman can have a baby that makes us special. No, that just makes you a woman. You got to go talk to God about it, because You can have a baby. Don't mean you stronger than me in any form, shape, or fashion. You're built to do that. I'm not. And so that's I'm like on this with Tony. That's a very bad argument. That's a physical thing. That you were made your way and I'm made this way.
Well, now, Jackie, brother, that's what Tony y'all been talking about this physical thing. Now all of a sudden there's some,
no. But my point is my point is that women have always in these spaces they wanted to come over and overstep men and what we bring to the table.
I hear you.
No, that's where the pushback is coming from. No one's saying that it's not that a woman having a baby and that you being able to have a baby is not important. But
right.
Let's stop with that because you can have a baby. That means we're supposed to accept all your behaviors.
Right. I hear you.
That so many women have.
Well, and I agree with you. And I agree with you. I agree with you. And by the same token, I don't think we men should keep falling back on that argument that, well, because we're the strongest of the sex, then we should blah, blah, blah. So you see what I'm saying? It's a dual-edged sword. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Can I say something?
Yes, you can. Go ahead, Tony.
This is what's funny to me, right? Especially the women that say, "Oh, I don't need a man. Right?" But when they get down on their knees, who do they pray to? A man or a woman?
I think they pray to God.
And they say he's a what? And they say God's a what?
Do we know? Now here we go. Here's another discussion. But I don't know. I don't think. I personally don't think. Look at me. Listen to me. I don't really know, but I don't think God's a woman or a man. I think God's God. But go ahead.
The average believer would say, "Our Father which art in heaven."
Okay.
They don't say I don't know, or our mother.
Our entity. They never say our entity.
So you can never say you don't need a man when you're praying to your Father.
Well, now wait a minute. I don't know if you know this, but there are some women who are married, and in that marriage, one of them is the father. But go ahead. I didn't mean to get off subject here, but go ahead.
Look, you starting to know.
I'm going off the rail. I'm sorry.
Hey, you're in Arizona. You just jumped out the Grand Canyon. You halfway to the bottom.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Save me. Hey, I got another comment here. It says that coming out of privates, no way. Women have that maternal thing to deal with the pain. So I guess they're still talking about this person said men in labor too. So they were commenting on the fact that we can't take pain. We can't take that labor pain. I'll tell you what, too, guys, we're going to have a time for a few more comments, and then we're going to have to close this episode out, and then we'll come right back probably within the next 5 minutes and get back into our second episode, and some of this conversation may just spill over. But go ahead, guys.
We done got off the subject on what we were supposed to be talking about on this right here.
No, I think a lot of it tied right in, because I think what it's still dealing with the differences between men and women and our thoughts and feelings on that. And so I think it still ties in. I'll acknowledge I had some other questions that we can take it up at a different time. But I think we did pretty good covering the subject. Go ahead.
But that was only, when you go down through history, there's only been a select demographic of men, a select group of men that were actually in a position to hold women back in anything. It wasn't across the board, across the board. Women have always worked. They've always been in their own property. Now, they weren't able to get bank accounts and credit cards, I think, to like 70 and 72. And that's because, and even then, that's because that their husband was responsible for the debt that the wife created.
Okay.
So it's not the oppressive thing that women jumped on this bandwagon because we're being held back.
It was, and the whole system is designed for the women.
Wow. Okay. I tell you what. I tell you what, Tony. You just put a period on this episode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold those thoughts, because in about 5 minutes we're going to be back on air, and we're going to get back into our second podcast, which kind of ties a little bit in what we've been talking about. You guys okay with that?
Yeah, but
Okay, so give me a second here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end this, and then we'll pick it back up. So hold on a second, okay, guys?
all right.
All right.